Hello everyone, this is Charlotte and it's a podcast called Chatting in Cars, and I talk about random topics and I swear a lot and I go to work, and that is what adulting is. Pretty much. A lot of what the fuck is going on intertwined with that. I do talk about random topics and I do swear a lot. As I said before, there's a disclaimer at the start of this podcast. So if you don't want to hear any of that, then absolutely turn it off. I'm not going to make you listen to it. I can't make anyone do anything really. I have enough time trying to make kids do what I need them to do in the classroom. Can't imagine trying to convince a grown adult. So if you don't want to hear any of that, that's okay. You don't have to listen to that. I've got a haystack of hair. It's inherited Irish genes, so I've got to control it somehow. Yeah, alright, so the topic for today is attractiveness. I'm not going to go on to a huge rant about how wonderful I am because I wasn't raised to. Physical features weren't exactly emphasized growing up. My mum was more concerned about what we were capable of doing. So, you know, it ties in with all kinds of things like, what are your values on vanity? What are your perceptions of what vanity is about? There is a culture currently where people, you know, they talk about like pretty privilege. And to a degree I can understand what it is, because you have more trouble, birds everywhere. You'd have more trouble understanding someone's message maybe if they are just, I hate this fucking intersection. Go. How do they know when I'm leaving? I do wonder that. It's like, how do you know that? It's like the Truman Show. It's like, how can we converge on this one point to create this frustrating sense? Am I playing the victim? No, we won't do that today. It's bad design as well, because you nearly take out the person coming towards you, because the road isn't curved enough. Anyway, enough of that diatribe. Let's go on to, you think about attractiveness, it's tied in with like vanity and things like that. And I was raised not to promote a sense of vanity because it's selfish and it's hollow and shallow. So my mum, particularly, because my dad didn't really raise us, he was just physically there. It was more a case of, I want to see what you can do, I don't give a fuck what you look like. I don't give a fuck. Show me what you can do. And you will show me what you can do, and you better be able to do it. It was a big push for functionalism. And she is a pretty hardcore functionalist. I don't know if it's because she came from a, really hardworking background, I suppose. Where, she came from matriarch herself. Women were expected to be capable. It's not just a case of look pretty and bear children. It's a case of you can do that, well, not the pretty bit, but also you bear children, but you're also working in the background. You don't sit on your ass and faff around with your hair and makeup and stuff. You're expected to work. You're expected to hold your weight if need be, and if it's an emergency, you should be picking up the slack as well. You should be capable of doing that. Now, the problem with that is it set us at a disposition to assume that we need to pick up the slack because, I can, so I will. That's not a good thing. Just because you can doesn't mean you fucking should. Some people just need to drop in order to learn how to be capable themselves. By constantly rescuing someone, you're just enabling their incompetence. It's very much sink and swim, and it can be a bit cruel at times because you're not sure if they are actually capable, but you'll find that most people will adapt if there is a threat of losing. This is why you get so many ex-boyfriends suddenly changing after you've left. It's like, I've changed my ways. It's like, in the span of a month? I don't think so. I'm a different person. No, you're not. You're just covering it up better. Or you're lying, or, it would be bullshit. So, in a case of helping someone develop, sometimes you just gotta let go of the umbilical cord and just let them cut the cord. And just, you figure it out for once. I'm tired of rescuing you and making things all right and removing pain from you because you're not learning. And we do learn through pain. I mean, some pain should be avoided. But in constantly rescuing someone and just doing it for them, it's not really helping them, strengthen their muscles for resilience or anything like that. And should be doing it yourself anyway. I'll put it that way. Not because it's engendered, not because you're a male or a female, but because you reach a certain level of age where it's perceived that you need to be of a certain maturity. Usually when it comes, like, biologically speaking, when it comes to like childbearing age, that you should be looking to form kind of mature, stable approach to adulting, because the kids are at risk in a natural sense, biological sense. If you're looking at, you know, the bare bones of the situation without all the abstract concept of human society and shit like that. If we were in the nature, if we were in nature and there was no society or community or anything, it was just us as, you know, in our most animalistic sense, it would be our biological functions that dictate our maturity. If you don't act in a mature way, your next generation will not pass on, your DNA will not pass on. You'll die out, they'll die out. You know, I feel like people have been coddled a lot in our current society because everything's so convenient. You don't have to really reach for anything. People lose their mind of not being able to find their particular type of peanut butter in the shop. It's, how dare you not supply me with this? It's like, can you not just try a different one? It's like, no. And in that sense, I do wonder how many people have got a level of undiagnosed autism in the crowd. I'm going, are you sure you can't make a change? No, I have to have exactly what I want now. And it's like, yeah, that's ego speaking. You don't need to have exactly what you want. And even the universe works in ways where if you ask for something, you'll get it. Maybe not in the way you anticipated or hoped for or predicted, but you will get it eventually if you're, you know, a good person. What was it the Rolling Stones said in their song? You can't always get what you want, but sometimes you get what you need. And in this case, coddling people, they don't get the attention they want. The function of the other person doing what they want them to do. But they do get what they need, which is essentially independence, even if it's forced independence, so they can stand on their own two damn feet and get on with their life. And that was the mindset of my mum from 5 onwards, my age-wise. I mean, from 5, the domestication started in the household. You learn how to adult at 5. And it might have started small, but as soon as you're in that schooling system, the household also mimicked it. So when I find an incompetent man unable to do what I was achieving at like 5 and 10, I get pissy. I'm like I can't do my own washing, I can't do my own cooking, I can't do my own cleaning, and I'm sitting there going, I was doing this at 10, man. At 10 and being beat down between intervals, you know. And you're sitting here at like 40 and I go, I can't do it, I can't be asked doing it. That's more accurate, isn't it? So the functionalism was emphasized a lot. And I was at the gym last night and I got pissed off with a guy who didn't put his weights back or clean the bar. And he left weights on the floor, and that's just sacrilegious. I'm like, you can't do that. It's illegal. It's like leaving babies and books on the floor. You just can't. You wouldn't leave a sandwich on the floor. All these weird things that just seem odd if you leave them on the floor. It's like, it'll probably be perfectly fine, but at the same time there's these, you know, internalized intrinsic kind of, I need to do this to fix it and make it right. So as soon, you know, when he moved on to the next area, I got pissy and my OCD kicked in, so I started cleaning up his shit. And I'm going, oh my god, he just weaponized incompetence on me, you bastard. But you know, but at the same time, mentally, I just cancelled him out as a potential anything. I'm sitting there going, I had an interaction with you because we talked over a bench, like moving a bench because he was in the way. I'm going, okay. But as soon as he walked away from an overloaded deadlift bar, I'm like, fuck you. No, because you've just shown me that you are selfish enough to leave it loaded. You didn't clean your area, so you're irresponsible. You left weights on the floor, that's a tripping hazard, that's irresponsible. You just don't care about anyone else as long as you promote yourself first. I did my weights, I'm fucking off home. And you sit there and think, I don't want to know how this translates into your external adult life, because right now you're showing me that you're an incompetent asshole. So that's a red flag. I'm sitting there going, I'm not taking on another guy that doesn't pick up after himself or have that sense of initiative to be considerate of other people. It's a communal gym, dude. It's not your own house. This isn't your bedroom. Your mom's not coming up to pick your ass, ew. Pick up after your ass. Handle it. You're a fucking adult, you know. So this is my mindset right now when I find incompetent men. It's why I find them, you know, ugh, you. It's like, you got that reaction, and it's like, it could be the hottest guy or something like that, but as soon as I see them do something dumb like that, I'm going, ugh, ugh. Can't even handle the basics of hygiene and consideration of other people. I can't. So, you know, I mean, everyone's different, but at what point do you make these allowances where you're just brushing shit under the rug because everyone's different, so we'll allow them to act like a fucking pig, a selfish fucking pig, and fuck everyone else in the gym? It's like, no, you're an adult now, handle it. It's like, there's no exceptions, grow up. And I was pissed off too. I was not subtle about it. I was throwing the fucking weight plates around. I'm going, oh, I hate you. I don't hate you, I don't even know you, but at the same time it's like, why are you like this? Why do these people exist? You're half-assing your entire existence in saying it's fine. It's not fucking fine. That could be trauma response pre-programming by my parents, though, my mum, with the whole perfection streak. If you listen to the other podcast, you'll know what I mean. So anyway, aesthetics weren't emphasized in my life growing up for the first 20 years of my life, and that carried on into my marriage as well. My mum was more interested in what you were capable of doing. So all these girls that were girly girls in primary school, I mean, I was raised a man from about 5. And, you know, it's like, you will perform, you will get it right. You don't get it right, you get the hose again. Puts the lotion on its skin. Huh? What's me ma doing? She's being weird with the bucket again. But, you know, and when you come to puberty and you know, like developing as a lady and a woman, I had no real sense of identity besides what had been, you know, shoved down my throat. It's like, I learned the manners of a lady, I learned the etiquette, I further learned further forms of etiquette, like gym etiquette, just some social interactions which I understand now, but no one seems to want to replicate. Like how you treat your friends and things like that. I was told this is how you treat your friends. It's done nicely, it's done honorably. You look after each other, and no one gets hurt, and no one's get their feelings hurt, and you go, okay, you know. And then you see it, you don't see it in other groups, and you're sitting there going, why aren't you guys doing this? Because this is what we're supposed to be doing. Like the backstabbing group, I'm sitting there going, I don't understand this, I'm leaving. I found that to be a bit of a vain group. They're more concerned with, you know, like presenting an image of being a particular way without the actual substance of it, and that frustrated me because I was hopeful at the start there. They were telling me all their ideas, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do, what was it, like podcasts and artists and all this extra business. I'm thinking, oh, cool, man, that's pretty creative, I like that. Okay, carry on, man. I do something similar. It's probably not as good, but I do something similar, so cool, yeah, let's go. And I would have liked to have discussed that, but it seems to be a lot of pushing the idea of doing something interesting, but not actually backing it up. And bearing in mind these kids, and they are kids, they're all 20s, early 20s to mid 20s. I think I was the oldest one there. No, actually my ex-boyfriend was, he was 40. But it's always the, I'm going to, or I will, the procrastination, the empty promises. And that bugged the fuck out of me. I'm saying, why don't you just do it then? I mean, if you're that interested in it and it means so much to you, just do it. Because I don't want, you know what it is? It's like, I had one girl in that group complain because she went for a walk for about half an hour and she said her ass hurt because she went for a walk. I'm sitting there thinking, you would not survive the gym. She was having a good old whinge about it. I'm like, I went for a walk and now my ass hurts. So it was 30-minute walk, darling. What are you doing with your life? It's like, how is this it's they don't want to put the effort in, is what I'm saying. It's too hard, I'm going to have a whinge about it. And then they get upset when they achieve nothing. Baffles me. I'm sitting there going, it's like saying you want to catch a fish but never actually planting a fishing line. It's like, what are you going to do? It's just going to magic into your fucking hands? You know, it's like, no, you're going to get it for me. Oh, so the truth comes out. You know, it's a lot of gold digging energy in that group. I'm going, yo, fucking lazy. I mean, you're going to be waiting forever for someone to rescue you in that sense. Might as well just, you know, cut the crap and go get it yourself, really. That's how I was raised. You don't sit there and wait for someone to give it to you, go and take it. Oh, That could be something said about a poverty cycle as well. It's like, I'm not going to go earn that car. I'm going to go take it. It's like, that's illegal. You probably shouldn't. You get in trouble for that. No, I mean, if you get caught. What the fuck? You can't just do that. But you know, it was never a case of expecting, and it ties in with the victim mentality podcast I just did. It's like you're expecting someone to feel sorry for you and come and save you. It's not happening. It's not reflective of life. No one comes to save you. Even something like winning the lottery is a fucking fluke. Everybody wants to win the lottery, of course, because it's a lovely experience where you don't have to do anything ever again. But at the same time, the odds of it happening are pretty fucking slim. You might as well just save the fucking money, invest it in something, and that's a gamble, to be honest. So you've got to pick and choose your gambles properly. But it's that I need to be saved. And the thing is, with that group as well, it was like, if I look pretty enough, someone will take me on. It's that sexual allure. Which backfires, of course, because these girls, and I do pick on the girls a lot, but the guys are the same. It's like, I want to look hot so I can attract people. I'm sitting there going, one, looks fade. So that's a shit economy to be banking on. It goes. Eventually, you could be the best person at looking after yourself. You could have those Keanu Reeves genes. You could do share levels of plastic surgery, you know, and it's still going to fade. And it's just one of those things you just got to live with. And I did a podcast on aging that you could listen to if you want to. It's like, there's no value really in heavily investing in looks, because time withers all things, doesn't it? But that's all they invest in as well. My ex-husband was the same. He was a PT, so he had to look a particular way, otherwise he wouldn't get clients, thinking he was competent. So he attributed aesthetics to being competent, which in a way it is, because if you're taking on the job of personal trainer, you should look like you've actually lifted something, I think. But at the same time, he went vain with it. He took it too far. He became an arrogant asshole, and it completely outweighed any attraction I had for him, realistically, emotionally, because he was just up his own arse all the time. So I don't particularly like people that are invested in their looks, quite frankly. I mean, not saying you run around like a raggedy ass person that doesn't look after themselves. I'm still saying you have to have a certain measure of self-care. But these vain people, like there's a guy at the gym right now I call Mini Bon Jovi. He looks like Mini Bon Jovi, like the guy, the celebrity, but he's constantly fucking around in the gym, and it pisses me off. And he'll stand behind me and fuck around with his hair. I'm sitting there going, I will shave your fucking head, you keep doing that. It bugs the shit out of me. He's faffing around with it more than the girls do, and the girls look in the mirror because they're like looking at their ass and shit. I'm going, I'm here to lift weights. I don't understand why we're looking at our ass. I'm interested in strength, not shape. Oh, look, motorbike. But at the same time, it's what type of motorbike? No. But the guys are more vain than the girls are. He's sitting there, he's got no muscle to him. So I'm sitting there going, what the fuck are you looking at? It's not like you're looking for symmetry or bulk or striations in your muscles and shit like that. He's this waif of a fucking thing, and he's 5 foot nothing. He's just got the whole hair flick. Hello. Oh, it's a Harley. Oh, okay. Can you hear that? He's a cute little Harley. Oh, look at Navara. Oh, and a douchebag behind him. But I'm driving through the industrial area again. But that was a Ranger. Whatever. The Australian equivalent of a pickup truck. So you know what that means. What the fuck? But at the same time, you're sitting there thinking, this person's going to spend, and I'm not a particularly vain person when it comes to attention and stuff like that, but this person's going to spend more time examining themselves and fuffing around with their hair and clothes and shit like that. They're not actually going to be invested in the relationship or anything like that, for example, or developing any part of their life besides, you know, what products to put in their hair. And you sit there and think, this person ain't worth my fucking time. There's nothing there. There's no substance there. They might be pretty on the outside, but what the fuck? I don't get it. There's no substance. There's nothing to grip onto. There's no depth of character or anything like that. Just fuck-assing around, pretending their entire value is based on how they look. And even like being attractive is culturally relevant. You know, it's context specific. For example, how many times has Brad Pitt been seen as the sexiest man alive? I don't even know. No doubt the Cavill guy will be voted at some point. shallow, but okay. You know, and Keanu's never been voted in, so I don't know what's going on. It's like, hey, he's gorgeous. So we've all got a, you know, like particular preference for types and what we deem as attractive and things like that. For example, I tried so hard last night to watch the Barbie movie, but the girl in it bugs the fuck out of me. She looks too sharp in the face, and she constantly looks angry to me. It's like a sharp, angry bitch face. I'm sitting there going, how is someone saying this is attractive? And to me, my sisters had Barbies. I didn't have Barbies. So I was looking at the faces of the Barbies growing up. And they don't have that sharpness. They have like a soft face. It's like a dumb face, but it's, you know, it's a blank expression. But at the same time, they don't have that sharpness there. But the whole movie, they were sitting there trying to tell people that it was okay for Barbie to look a particular way. And this actress in particular is like the epitome of perfection aesthetically. I'm sitting there going, for who? I'd rather fuck Helen Mirren, and she was voicing it. I'm going, you know. I love Helen Mirren. You ever checked her out when she was younger? Holy shit, man. Helen? Oh my god. Damn, woman. She was fine. In case you don't notice, I go both ways. But, you know, with this blonde chick, and I like blondes in preference. I don't particularly like, I can't remember her name, but she was in Suicide Squad as well. And I'm like, it's not a particularly aesthetically pleasing face for me. There's a sharpness there. She looks like an angry spider to me. It's like, why are you always angry? But I could be weird. But some people go, oh my god, oh, Margaret Robbie. They go, oh my god, Margaret Robbie, she's so hot. I was going, you like girls that look perpetually pissed off? So, what is that? There's something Freudian in that. But people buy into aesthetic. I mean, it's been bandwagoned to hell, basically because of PR stunts and shit like that with celebrities. This is the current niche of what is considered attractive. It will change. I still don't see Brad Pitt as a sex symbol. He looks like a squinting thumb to me. You could draw a finger on your thumb and it would have the same level of, you know. He's so hot. Is he? He's so charismatic. I'm like, no, not really. I don't feel it, man. It's just not my type. Plus, I don't particularly like blonde guys. I like brunette guys. So, but it's and people put so much weight on the value of perceived aesthetic value. You know, it's like if you're pretty privilege. It's like, I mean, what do people actually do with that? You got a shitload of people changing, cutting, botoxing their face and shit like that, like the Kardashians. Glorified whores, as far as I can see. There's no way, two ways around it. Your entire empire started on a sex video. You know, sitting there going, you are glorified whores. And you've expanded on it. You've commodified whoring further somehow. But yeah, somehow, I already thought it was a business. But their aesthetic is being pushed as what is desirable, this giant ass, which apparently you can get with a surgery. I'm sitting there going, I just thought you were fat. You had a fat ass. Or you had fat. You can't actually be fat, you had fat. Apparently it's like liposculpting and implants and all kinds of fucking, what's it? BBD or BBM or big bowel movement? I don't know. I don't know what surgeries are. All I'm saying is, why don't you just write out your genetics? Some people are lucky, some people are not. I know I'm never going to have big tits. I live with that. It's like I've got the boobs of a 10-year-old. You know, it's like I'm okay with that. The upside is they'll never be near my knees when I'm older. They'll maybe be an inch lower. But other than that, they're not going anywhere. Whereas in high school, for example, the girls were pushing for, I need big boobs. Because we had the Britney Spears aesthetic, right? You know, fake tits at 16. No one could afford them, but if you had giant tits, despite being maybe morbidly obese, you know, you're tits. So there was a weird mixing of messages there. What aesthetics were valuable. And we had the Christina Aguilera dirty video where we all had to act like slags, basically. I didn't do it. I tried not to, actually. I was more into the surfy aesthetic in my final year of high school. Blonde. I had blonde hair for a bit. Bleached to buggery. But I was down the beach, man, and I had an eating disorder as well, so my aesthetic was to just be wafer thin, you know. It was a mental condition. It wasn't anything based on what I would find attractive. Like I find, like if I look at guys today, or girls today, if they're painfully thin, I've got that background of anorexia where I sit there and think, you're too thin, that's not attractive, I need you to eat more, lift some fucking weights or something. I mean, I don't mind if guys are chunky. The dad bod thing, as long as they're lifting while they do it. Decent sized fat content is not that bad. Power lifters are a bit much though, because I don't want to get crushed. Those guys are massive. They are crazy big. And it's like a keg at the front, so it's like if you were some kind of fantasy race, I think, you know, they wouldn't be elvish, they'd be dwarfish, you know. Is that aesthetic? You got the Gimli genes going on there. My people are elfish. We got the pointy ears and the eyes, and the pale skin. So, you know, I might be too short, so I lean towards the fairy side of things. But, you know, I'm not 6 foot tall and Aryan, you know. But we do, yes, we do like the cunning folk. They're interesting and they're smart and they're tricksy. And it scares the idiots. Don't piss off the fey folk. Anyway, so that's what I lean towards. It's more whimsical fantasy when it comes to attractiveness. But people put so much emphasis on what they look like as well, and they invest their entire existence, money and everything into looking a particular way, and nobody fails anyway, without developing any kind of a personality, which is morbid in itself, really. So you end up with these very pretty, sculptured, plastic, cake-faced individuals with no personality that are fun to bang for a while, but then they just get irritating. So it's like, what else? It's the same for guys as well. I've seen a lot of guys that are very pretty, but would I bother starting something with them because of, you know, based on their looks? Not really. There's no substance. And as you find as you're getting older, particularly because you're naive in your 20s, aren't you? You're sitting there thinking, oh, he's so hot, or oh, he's pretty, or oh, he seems nice. As you get older, your demands or your needs are more complicated and complex. You don't just want a pretty face. You want someone you can actually talk to, express feeling with, you'll feel safe with. Safe is a large thing for me at this point because I have not had safety. Consciously or subconsciously, I always go for 6 foot tall, big guys, and it's not just a case of bandwagoning into the current, oh, girls only like tall guys. It's like, no, for me it's like a partial trauma response. I'm attracted to guys who I feel could protect me, and that might be a lot more other women. Maybe this is more a frequent response than we like to anticipate, because women do face a culture of getting fucked over, so we want someone to protect us. It's not necessarily providing. Sometimes you just have to stand there and look intimidating. So you end up with some bikey guys. Piercings out the wazoo and tattoos, and you're sitting there going, yeah, but he's lovely on the inside. So yeah, I mean, my first husband, I intend to have more. I'm going to Zsa Zsa Gabor this. Liv, what's her name? Liz Taylor. I'm going to do that. Am I? I don't know. Sounds like a lot of hassle. But my first husband, my ex-husband, he was 6 foot tall, South African with broad shoulders, and it did him well when he wanted to become like lifting weights and shit like that, because he had the frame for it. But when I first knew him, he was quite thin and skinny, and because he was only a kid, man, and you build weight, muscle and weight as you get older. You fill out. Even if you don't lift, you tend to get broader shoulders. As a male, not as a female, we get broader hips, so we'll be bottom heavy most of the time. If you're estrogen dominant, if you're progesterone dominant, you get bigger boobs. I am not progesterone dominant. I'm actually quite hourglass at this point. But when I gain weight, it's on my ass. I can tell you exactly where it's gone. The boobs are never safe. It's like they never get help. That's just my genetics, my DNA. I now write that out because it's what I'm given. That's okay. It's not a problem. I don't feel particular pressure. Thanks to my mum being completely against aesthetics and vanity. I don't feel any real pressure to look a particular way. I like to be clean and smelling nice and saving myself from things like sunburn, which is why I wear sunscreen all the time. My foundation is covering up a lot of skin damage at this problem. Possibly, I don't know. Skin damage. Because I had like measles one year and I scarred the fuck up that way, so I can't tan now. Not that I can tan really anyway. I go like a caramel. I don't know if you can see. I go like a caramel. I'm a latte, darling. A latte. I don't get that deep. Like my grandma was gypsy heritage. She had the dark hair, the dark eyes. Damn, grandma. And she looked like me, but she was dark. Chocolate brown. Fuck, grandma. And I came out pasty as fuck with the blue eyes and the you know, auburn hair. And that's the Nord genes coming from my granddad Fred's Danish side. There's also a shit ton of Irish in there, which is bound to pop up every now and again. I know my dad's beard is bright orange when he grows it out, even though he's got like chocolate brown hair. But you know, it's... My grandma was hot. In her heyday, she was alright. I don't remember much about her after that. But you know, most people from that era were fucking hot because they actually took the time to look after themselves. They didn't really do shit that would hurt you, like drugs and binge eating and that were just detrimental to health. There was a lot of more conservative views about appearances. They did the hair up. The ladies did the hair up. They wore hats. They did all the nice things. They accessorized. They tried to look nice. The guys put in the effort as well. I find a lot of guys are grungy, half-assing these days, and I'm sitting there going, while there is a push to go towards the aesthetic of suits and things like that, you don't have to go all the way there. I mean, it'd be uncomfortable constantly corseted up, although I do quite like corsets. That's different. We're not going there today. I love dress-ups. I do. How could you not like dress-ups, man? It's fun. Anyway, I'm not going there today. I'm nearly at work. But no, okay, no, we're not going there. I'm going to be daydreaming about that all day. Anyway, there goes my astral planing. What have you been up to today? Don't you ask. But you know, people put the effort in. And I found a lot of people would just get to a certain age these days and they just give up and I've always held that you've got to look nice for your person. And it's not just a case of vanity in itself for yourself. It's like I show my level of respect for my partner when I'm with them by looking after myself, because I don't want them to, I guess I'll be looked at by their friends. It's like, oh, why are you going with that thing? I put the effort in. I want to be the one they're chasing sexually, and if it's you know, whatever I'm doing is sexually attractive to them, I will definitely do it more of. I mean, with my ex-boyfriend, I was running around in tartan mini skirts and shit like that. I'm more inclined to do that again. I wouldn't mind doing that again, but I wouldn't do it unchaperoned. I don't like the idea of that. I like dress-ups, but I wouldn't do it just on my own. Yeah, it's creepy. It doesn't feel safe, and I'm doing it for him. But you always get like the fucking weirdos that look at you like, ugh, and you're like, I'm doing it for him. Close your eyes, avert your eyes, you bastard. Protect my honor, you fuck. Why are you dressed like that? For him. I want him. I only want him. Not now, because he's an arsehole, but it's like, but whoever I end up with is going to have that side of things. Maybe as a bonus. They might see it as a threat. I don't know. Some guys are like, don't dress like my ex-husband was like, don't dress like that. It's I don't like it. I don't like drawing attention to you, sort of thing. He didn't like attention being drawn to me in general for anything. That's why I wasn't allowed to wear makeup and dresses. He didn't like me in girl clothes. He was like, why don't you dress like a boy? Why don't you wear sporty clothes and cut your hair? And I don't like makeup. I definitely don't like lipstick. And I'm sitting there thinking, are you gay? Is this a gay thing? Have you got latent homosexuality going on, mate, and you just can't admit it because you've got this toxic uber masculinity riding it? Do you like the pole as much as I do? It's like, what's going on there, mate? I mean, I go both ways. I'm very comfortable in that. I don't mind. I still use my manners though. My ex-boyfriend knew I was bisexual, and he's sitting there trying to get into the whole oh, check her out sort of things. Like, and at that point it's just embarrassing, because I'm like, I am a girl and I know what it feels like to have that boys looking at you kind of thing. So I wouldn't encourage it. Oh, I do have senior block duty. Shit. So I wouldn't encourage it. As a woman, it's horrible. I mean, I could admire a woman for looking well put together. I like her outfits. I like her hair and aesthetics, maybe. She's got a pretty face. I go, oh, that's quite nice. I find it more attractive that they've got a decent personality, that they've got higher morals, because, you know, nobody wants to be stuck with a bitch. If you're a pleasant person, anyone would get along with you more than if you looked pretty but you were still a bitch. I think that's more important than how much shit you've troweled onto your face and whether your skirt is halfway up your ass and your tits are out, in alluring a partner. Because you got to know that you got long-term investment in that. Girls that tend to invest only in, you know, short skirts and their tits out tend to have only that to offer. So, you know, it's like, you're very pretty for now. And then they get upset when boys won't stay with them. I say boys. They are boys technically, but men will not bother because it's a waste of time. It's like, why bother chasing after tail if it is only tail, and then you get bored of it and you have to throw it away because you put all this time and effort into it. It seems like a waste. Boys will chase tail because they know it's disposable. Same as there's girls that do the same things. They chase guys just for that ego boost. Just like, I'm gonna go fuck that one because fuck it. Or I got low standards. And there's always the hazard of you could get pregnant by them. So it's like, or an STD. Are children not a form of STD? I don't know. Technically, but you don't want to say it because it feels immoral to say it. It's like, we love kids because society has pushed this pressure of child innocence and how valuable they are, and we have to perpetuate the next generation in a kind of biological survival kind of way, so we don't shit on them. But at the same time, you sit there and go, here's a kid that I didn't want. It was passed on sexually. It could be likened to and it happens a lot in our low SES areas because the parents are like, I got this one accidentally because I was pissed. Or high, or, you know, the condom break or some shit like that. Or we didn't bother because we were just winging it. So there is a sense of buyer's remorse when it comes to having kids sometimes. And fair play if you feel that way. It's okay to have kids and regret it. People feel so much guilt in association with that because nobody really grasps what having kids is until they've actually done it. And it's like anything. It's like you won't know what it is till you get there and live it yourself. And people can say, oh, that's cute, and when you like to do that and you can imagine in your life what it could be like, but realistically, it's until you get there, you don't know. You just don't know. And I feel for people that feel bad for having kids and then regretting it afterwards, because I'm like, I saw that bullet coming and I dodged it like fucking Keanu style. So like, babies. Ding, 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 ding. But, you know, that's only because I actually work with kids and I know the reality of dealing with them and having to, you know, convince them to do things they don't want to do, and all the drama and shit and the crying and the tears and the fucking snot everywhere and the coughing in your mouth, and I know what that is. It's not an illusion to me. There's no gloss over the top of that because I've dealt with it already before I even got to a point where I even might consider having kids. Been teaching for 15 years now. It's not new to me. I know what the demands are. But people go into this sort of experience and it's all glossed over and it's wide-eyed and saying, I want kids and it's going to be fabulous and it's in this little mini version of me and so it's cute and I'm dressed up like me. And in a sense, it's like an extension of narcissism, really. It's like I need to perpetuate my genes because my genes I deem valuable enough to pass on to the next generation. It's like, are they? And that's people who actually plan to have kids. It's like, are they that valuable, really? What are you doing in your life that is so valuable that you think the future needs you or a version of you in it? That's vanity, I think. Lots of different forms of vanity. Not necessarily aesthetic vanity. But it's just, you don't have to, dude. I mean, if you can perceive it to be more of a hassle than it's worth, don't fucking do it. I mean, save yourself and the child who has to live with the consequences of you having an unfulfilled experience and taking it out on them, which is what my parents did. My parents were very delusional about what having kids would be, and on top of that, it was a poverty cycle, and they did take it out on us. So it was made clear that we were a burden. She told us we were a burden. She told us that the only reason they're staying together is because of us. And I'm sitting there going, bitch, I'm 8. Why are you telling me this? As if I don't have enough of fucking hassle. I haven't even had puberty yet and you're dumping this shit on me. Give me a sec. My autism's kicking in. It was absurd. Anyway, so what can we drag from this? Because I gotta go into class in 8:07. I gotta do duty at 8:15. I wouldn't put all the emphasis on aesthetics. It has a purpose. It usually, in a more noble sense, you should be using your looks, for example, to promote something that is positive in the community. Oh, that's one of my kids. If people are willing to, because of that willing to listen to you because of that pretty privilege, or say, you know, do what you, if they're followers. I don't like followers though. It leaves yourself open to exploitation. I don't know why people do that, but absurd. But you know, it should be for the betterment. It's not just ego stroking and saying I'm more valuable than anyone else. You shouldn't turn it inwards and say my entire value is based on how I look. It should be a case of I've got something to give, shallow as it seems. I'm a model. Blue steel. Really, really good looking. I love that movie. And it plays on the vanity of aesthetics. Oh. And how people over promote it as a valuable component of the human condition. It's not. It's the outside of the important bit. It's like looking at the M&M and saying I only want to eat the shell. It's like the chocolate's the important part, dude. Come on. It's what's inside that counts, my friends. Is that Mighty Boosh? It might be. It's not the it's the I gotta look it up. It's inside that counts. Might be. Also a good series. But I'm gonna have to leave it there because, you know, it's Wednesday, I've got to go on duty. I hope you have a fantastic Tuesday. And you know, if anyone makes you feel less than because you don't aesthetically look pleasing, tell them to fuck off. You've got way more value in you as a human being with a condition and a soul and a heart than you do and a brain, for fuck's sake. I hope you've got a brain. Then a pretty face smeared on with fucking 10 layers of toner and whatever it is they fucking use. It's like a trowel, a bricklayer's trowel, just, and always with the dabbing. Wouldn't that piss you off? Constant dabbing. It's not even real dabbing. Fuckers, I learned the customs. I know what I'm doing. But take it easy. I hope you find some kind of greater value in who you are on a holistic level, who you are as a whole. It's not just a case of I look pretty, therefore I am. There's a whole lot more to that. And I hope you have a great Tuesday because I'm going to do another one tomorrow, hopefully. Okay, so take it easy.